Hello everybody, and how are you all? Wish you very happy Michhami Dukkadam. Michhami Dukkadam is a mantra that we normally one Jain says to another Jain, and by that we mean I for whatever last year. So we have this, we do it annually. So normally the correction, it is called correction, and this correction happens annually. So every year on the 8th day of our Paryushan, that's a Jain festivals, we kind of ask for internal forgiveness, and we say the word Michhami Dukkadam, which means I kind of forgive you, I ask for your forgiveness for any harm that I have done to you, knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally, in my conscious mind or in your subconscious mind, by thoughts, by feelings, by emotions, by gestures, by anything. If I have done any harm to you, I really ask for a heartfelt forgiveness towards you. That is the meaning of the word Michhami Dukkadam. Now we follow this every year. So it's a process. It's about 2-hour, 3-hour process where our spiritual gurus, they kind of take us through the process. It's not like a meditation or anything, but it's kind of, you have to listen to what they say. And previously most of that was in Sanskrit and Prakrit language, but now it has been converted thanks to digital world. The meaning have also been converted into our normal language, Gujarati. That is what we speak, so I can hear that in Gujarati. So we have this online Samansari Pratikaman that we do, wherein our spiritual guru, they kind of take us through this entire process, wherein right from asking forgiveness not only to external beings, which are one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional, four-dimensional, ekandriya beindriya. So yeah, sorry, not till four-dimensional. First dimension, second dimension, three dimensions. So all the people, insects, animals, cells, viruses, bacteria, all those things which are, like you have a single cell body to a human, which is a completely multiple cell body, which is the highest 5 senses. So we start with one indriya, which is one cell, one sense kind of a thing, which is called one indriya, and we go to panchendriya, which is 5 indriya, which is all the 5 senses. We go through that, and we kind of ask for the forgiveness on emotional, mental, spiritual, karmic, astral, and on all the levels, on the ethereal level, and all the 7 layers. We kind of ask for the forgiveness. Now that's a process that we do annually, wherein they would recall about thousands of situations. Those spiritual gurus, when they are saying in their sermons, they would recall thousands of situations where you would have harmed anybody, and then they make us go through the renunciation part and ask for the forgiveness. So today I thought it's a beautiful day to kind of present this to people who don't know about it. But so we Jains, we kind of do it every year, and also we do it whenever there is an argument or a tiff or something that happens in a thing. We suddenly become conscious, and maybe in the heat of the moment we may have said certain things, but later on we realize it was all futile, and so then we go and say Michhami Dukkadam, wherein I stopped hurting you at the moment. I ask you immediately for your forgiveness, which means let us not continue this karmic cycle, because karma, as we know, they kind of keep multiplying it, and it's at compound interest rate, so the karma keeps multiplying at compound interest rate. And so we don't know. For example, I might have just said, you stupid, idiot, fool, nonsense. I might have said that to the person. Now the words are very simple, but the intent with which I said it to the person was so strong that I may have incurred those karmas, and I then realize, oh my god, I shouldn't have said that, and I immediately kind of say, I'm really very sorry for what I said, because I know the person was hurt. He didn't expect it, or he did not expect the way I said it, or he didn't generally, you don't need to be nasty to anybody generally, kind of, so then he says, okay, I forgive. So from the moment till you say the word Michhami Dukkadam, or you ask for forgiveness, you only incur karma to that time limit, which is also quite a huge sum. But okay, but you stop the cycle there when he says, okay, I forgive you. Okay, and now the best part about this thing is that both the parties should be completely intentional about it. It should not be, oh, I fought you in my mind and thinking, what, you're not right, and X, Y, and Z, and but okay, let me just say I'm sorry, and Michhami Dukkadam, and he says, okay, what the hell, I have my life to carry on, and I don't need any other drama, and she's the only wife or she's the only husband that I have, and we have to continue, and so okay, it's okay. You kind of just say, you throw the thing under the carpet. Okay, we don't understand and acknowledge that within us, but we just throw it under the carpet, and that's when this whole karma gets doubled. It gets fast, because you did not mean it. You said most sacred words which were meant to kind of end a cycle. You just said it a wrong thing. Maybe it was not a lie, it's a white lie kind of a thing, because you just said you wanted to end that discussion and argument, but you just said that. So that's a second karma. So not only did you stop that chain that you already had, but you started the new chain. Okay, and the third chain, what you did is that you compromised for your own self. You really kind of did an injustice to yourself, because in your mind you were angry, which you are supposed to control. But I'm just saying that that's on a theory level, but just I'm looking on a practical level, that you were angry, but you still had to say, all right, I don't have a choice, let me just kind of deal with this and let me move on with this thing, and then you say the words, I'm sorry, which most of the people do in any relationships. If they are the one who try to survive, those people who try to survive this relation, most of the people, they start doing that, and that's when you throw it under the carpet. That's like, okay, now all the wounds start coming into the picture, because you have thrown something under the carpet. That means the dust has not gone out, the kachra is not gone, the garbage is not gone out of the house, out of the energy, out of the system. It's still there somewhere, residual in part of you. Now that is like 3 or 4 different kind of karmas. Our Jain religious gurus, they know it so well, they can explain it to you so well, and then when you start hearing them, you really feel, oh my god, you shouldn't ever do these things, because ultimately I know what they say is right. Karma, it never escapes you, it's like it never escapes you. You have to pay it, so if I'm going through a very troubled situation in my life, supposing that's a past life karma or a past karma that I had incurred, but I did not process it, maybe I did not apologize it, I did not bear to nullify the accounts, and nor did I must have thrown it under the carpet at that point of time, and so it has come on in form of a tragedy or a problem or whatever you can call it, so this is basically the system. Now another part of I forgot my flow. Okay, so sometimes these messages, they are just kind of channeling. I was actually supposed to talk on a very different thing with related to karma, and all this is just being channeled. Okay, so I still have to introduce you to a topic. I don't know if I'll be allowed to introduce to that topic, but let me continue with this. So we need to kind of cleanse our aura and karma at the moment, with the realization that okay, we are responsible for everything that happens in our life. If you are struck with a tragedy, if you are struck with a problem which is related to your family, which is related to your job, which is related to money, which is related to your health, which is related to some mental issues that you are facing and you are not overcome, so on the superficial level you might be kind of very okay, but there are a lot of things happening inside and there's nothing that you can say outside. So most of the time people say the word is depression. So all this is actually part of karma, that you did not take time in this past life, in this past, up in the moment you were born to up in the moment, that is also past, or previous lives where you were kind of in your past life scenario, you did not take time to do cleanse that system, you know. So that are the wounds. Now these wounds, they are again, like, I don't know if you watched my previous video, they all work in a cyclical manner. It's, you know, you have a wound, you have an issue, you kind of face it. So you may have a mother wound, you may have a father wound, you may have a sister wound, you may have a brother wound, you may have a relationship wound, any of the wounds. You may have a financial wound, for that matter of fact. Some people are really suffering with health, so you may have that also. But these are causes. There are 5 to 6 basic wounds which cause this problem, because those wounds kind of create certain they propel those emotions and energies into your mind, your thought, into your aura, and then that is attracted into your life. Okay, so if I have to say, we need to, no, let me rephrase it another way. So when we are dealing with these wounds are nothing but a reminder that you have a lesson that you have to master. These wounds are nothing, that these are the emotions that your soul has not faced up in the moment. Your soul never had the courage to face those moments. For example, some people are struggling with finances. So I will put it in terms of poverty consciousness. So in your past life, when you were in a poverty consciousness situation where you were not doing so well with the money, you lost it. You completely lost it, and you behaved very irrationally, or you behaved very stupidly, or you behaved like a beggar where you became a victim. You may have done so many things, but the most basic thing is you did not encounter it, you did not face it, you did not do anything to change your situation. You were just like, okay, you know, it's just coming, it's just coming, it's just coming. Yeah, it does come all the time. It comes because you have to encounter that thing, you have to face it. If you don't face it, okay, it will go back, okay, and you feel, okay, the problem is gone. Now the cycle keeps coming back in a different way, then in a different way, then in a different way. So you see the point from here to here to here to here, the problem is escalated. Every time you face a situation and you don't take an action of this, there are so many people. That is why honestly, when I was young, when I used to listen to our gurus, he would say that you need to be very strong and very, no, not the strong word, courageous, to kind of follow the practices that are given as per your spirituality or as per your religion, because it kind of makes you aware of your own problems, and you have to work on your own self. You have to understand everything which is within you, correct it within you, and leave it to it. Nothing to do external is not an option, because it does not matter. If you are in a problem, let's say somebody lost a job. Why did somebody lose a job? That means he was not aware of why the situation is. Maybe he was not contributing too much to the society or to the company that he was into, or maybe he was not such a good employer. If I look at it, who is at fault? Definitely you are at fault for no reason, because if in this pandemic so many people were being fired, not everybody was fired. Few were fired, few were retained. So why you are not one of them? That means somewhere you have been unfair to your job, your performance towards that company. Now the company is an external thing. You were not doing a good job of your own freaking self. And I'm sorry for my language, but you did not do a good job with your own self. And that's the reason why this kind of scenario has come into your life, that in your past life, you would have said, okay, you know, I don't care, I'll find another job. Yeah, well, you can find another job. But did you learn the lessons from your past mistake? No, you just blame it on the company, and then you move ahead, and then you get a job also, because you must have done some good karma, so you get a job also. But again, after some time, you lose the money. So there is a switch on, switch off, switch on, switch off kind of a thing that is happening in your life, which means at every point of time you are not doing 100% job with your own self. Somewhere you are lacking. you are not accepting the lack. Maybe you need to study more, maybe you need to understand the dynamics more, or maybe you need to understand the office politics more. So many people are, you know, part of the office politics. Well, that's a lesson. You need to be super smart. You need to be smart. See, you can get education and you can learn. That's a very good thing. But you also have to be street smart to save your job and to do about it. What opportunities you get in your life, and how can you encash it in a positive, better and a righteous manner, not in a wrong manner, but in a righteous manner. If you do that, you break your price karmas, you would break your poverty karmas, and you get into security karma. You just develop that karma and then you go into that aspect, you know. So how each karma comes into the picture and how you deal with that karma is very important. Now the best part is when we are practicing forgiveness. Okay, it's the most toughest thing to do. The point which I was really wanted to talk was the forgiveness part, but again I was just guided to talk into the theory, you know. Anyway, so when we have to ask for forgiveness, we stop, we put an end to that particular situation. We say, okay, I don't know what I did, I must have done something wrong, I must have killed somebody in my past life. Okay, in one of my past life, I saw I had committed suicide. Okay, so I don't know whether that's a true, it was a projection of my subconscious mind, or if it's truth, I don't know. But then I learned about it and I realized, okay, when time gets tough, you have to be very careful, because you become very edgy in life. Once you get edgy in life, that's your past karma, because you were not supposed to take your life back at that point of time. You were supposed to face that situation, however harsh it was. Now the scenarios were such that I thought maybe this was a good option, but that was not a good option. You need to come out of that and you need to face that situation. So in this life, when I lost a friend to suicide, and that triggered a lot of things in me, and I was all the time thinking, you know, and why would she do that? She was a very happy soul, she was a very chirpy soul, she was a very nice soul, but something, so your karmas get into the picture and then they take you. After a certain point of time, you kind of just allow the destiny to take over, or you allow your own self to take over. So there are two things. So when you try to control a lot of things, things go out of hand. But when you allow destiny to happen, it may be a very rough point, a rough turbulent period in your life, but eventually it will settle down. It's never so that it doesn't settle. So the forgiveness is one key that I believe has I'm trying to work on it. It's not that I have worked on it, but I'm seeing the benefits of it working on me, because there were certain relationships that I could never accept in my life. I had so much of pain when I think about certain relationships in my life. I had, you know, and that included everything, not only internal family, external friend, extended friends. I never could be with somebody, you know, where I can say, okay, I can be myself. You know, I never felt with anybody. I was friendly with most of the people. I go out of my way to do things for them. I offer my 100% to them, but it doesn't work out. So definitely that's a relationship karma that I'm facing. Now for the longest time, I was like, you know what, I'm going to avoid, I'm going to detach, I'm going to cut it off, I'm going to, yeah, that's good. All this thing is good for your life. When you do this thing, it's good for your life, because you stop the negativity coming into your life. But cutting the relationship, detaching with the relationship is not the answer. That means you are just kind of taking so I had seen this film Agnipath, the new Agnipath by Karan Johar, where the hero said that if you are weak, the father was explaining to the younger Vijay Dinanath Chauhan that if you are weak and then you say, you know what, I forgive you for something the person had done wrong to a weak person, and weak person says, you know what, I forgive you, that's bullshit, that's crap. That is the biggest part of cowardice, because you never had the capacity to fight the person. You only had the capacity to say, okay, you know what, I let go, kind of, you know. So that let go is stupidity. But if you say that, okay, I know I don't have any mental strength, emotional strength, but I will get through that, and you fight the situation, that's where this things comes out. So if there were issues in the relationships, most of the relationships got disconnected for me in longest time. I have been seeing my pattern since I had my first awakening in the year 2012. That was my first awakening when I had realized, and I kind of did not allow the awakening to completely empower me, because it started showing me so many realities and I got scared. You know, like I said, this is the spirituality, the road to your soul it's a very strong one. You need to be pretty strong to go walk down that road. And I got scared, and I'm like, okay, God, you know what, I really don't want to deal with this. I want, and I exercised my free will, and I kind of stopped that thing. And then again things started, but it had started, the process had started, because I had written it in my soul goal. When I came down, I had written in my soul blueprint that I need to be awakened, you know, by 2020. I don't care, I need to be awakened. So there were different times when different things happened. It started basically in 2000, then it started in 2002. Again, there was a period in 2008, 9 somewhere, where situations where I was awakened and the powers were rising, you know, and I had Kundalini rising, but I did not realize it was Kundalini realization. I thought, oh my God, I got scared, and I'm like, okay, no, all this, I really don't want to do that, you know. And in the meantime, I attracted a lot of abundance in my life in different ways, you know. I didn't really ask for anything, but it was just that I thought about something, I manifested it, and I got it. So I was already operating on a 5D part, but I was not fully conscious and fully aware of this entire thing, okay. And so again in 2012 there was a big thing wherein it tried to awaken me, and I'm like, no. 2014, 2016, 2018, and ball 2020, my soul did not take a no for an answer, as if my soul was a different entity. It just says, you know, I would not say the square word, but like, I freak you, I don't care, you're going ahead with your ascension plan, because that is what we are supposed to do. And 2020 I went through a major awakening process, you know, and that was very dark, you know. And there were situations which was so turbulent in my life, I just could not think. At that point of time, I really didn't think I'm going to even survive that situation in my life. It was very tough on for me. But then I was introduced to the concept of Ho'oponopono. I was aware of this thing because I had learned it long back, but you know, you learn. At that point of time, I was more of a spiritual shopper. So you know, you are normal people, you normally will go, materialistic people who are there, they would go and they would start seeing things like, okay, let's go to this brand and let's go to that brand and let's buy this and that and X, Y and Z. I was a different person. I was a spiritual shopper. So I said, okay, let me learn this modality, let me learn that modality. A lot of information I had gathered, but there was nothing that I was doing about it. Okay, so that's when I realized, and I was aware of Ho'oponopono, but that's when I realized that I need to practice Ho'oponopono. And that was the phase where I could come in terms with my reality, I could accept my reality, and I could move on with my reality, and I became stronger with my reality. I have not been able to forgive per se. No, I have not been able to forgive per se, but I've been able to come into the terms of acceptance. That's also a huge thing. Once your acceptance level is there, you start working on certain levels, and now I feel compassion for certain people, because now I see them very differently. I don't see them as because I don't see them as perpetrators anymore. I don't see them as the people who kind of did things to me. No, now I see maybe that was a role that they had to play so that I could awaken. So you know, I'm not saying I'm an angel kind of a thing, but yeah, somewhere I feel it's okay. It doesn't hurt me anymore, you know. That is the power of Ho'oponopono, which I practiced. And Ho'oponopono seems very easy, and it is very easy, but it's only when you start practicing it, it kind of comes out with, huge plethora of emotions that you had swept it under the carpet over the period. You didn't even realize it. Each and every wound, each and every problem, when I started practicing, when I went through my dark night of soul, and when I went through this awakening process in my ascension journey, I could recall a problem which I faced when I was 5-year-old. When I had a problem when I was 5-year-old, oh my God, that was such an old version of me. But I had that problem to the latest. So many incidents which I thought I didn't even realize that in my memory. I don't think they were even there. Those incidents were not even there. But once I started working on it, all the garbage started coming in. It all started surfacing in it. I had to purge it. So initially I didn't know how to purge it. It's a process. It works on it. It's a course that you have to go through, that you have to go through. There has to be somebody to guide you, otherwise it becomes very difficult. So that's a different approach to it. I went through it, but fortunately there was a time when I lost all my friends. The best of my friends, I lost all of them. I had nobody. If I was looking on my cell phone, I had nobody to call to, except for one person to two person, except for two people, which I was not much in touch with, but I could talk to them, kind of that. And I used to crave to talk to somebody, because I realized one thing. I wanted somebody who would understand. The longest time I had an issue that people are not of my wavelength, and I thought I did not know what to say, because most of the time people would say we went here and we went there and we did this and we did that. And no, I wanted to talk about ascension, quantum jumping, leaping, probability of astral travels. That was my area of talk, or maybe generally I would love to talk on that. So when I put an intent on the universe says you only have an X amount of people in your life, remaining we will remove. So all the people went through, and new people started coming into my life out of the blue. And I met friends with total strangers who kind of came into my life with so much of information, so much of knowledge, so much of support, and it was amazing. And I started cleaning myself with Opono, because then I realized, initially I didn't realize it, but then I started cleaning myself. Now, cleaning is a technical term. I would not want to get to you, but that's a process. If you're going to do the part of Opono, you will come to know. But the term when you start practicing Ho'oponopono is you call it cleaning. So kind of I started working on those parts, and I started finding. Now Ho'oponopono is just 4 sentences, and you can say it in any order. There are 4 mantras. They are not even, they're sentences, but you can call them mantras because they're very powerful. It has impact. The first one you can say in any order per se. It's not a requisite that you need to say it in this order or that order. Let your heart say, because whichever emotion is the first that you need to cleanse, you need to cleanse that. Okay, so the first sentence is, please forgive me. That's your first mantra, please forgive me. Your second mantra, I am sorry. Your third mantra, I love you. And fourth, I thank you. Okay, now it seems very easy, and initially when I started practicing it, I was like, okay, it doesn't make sense, and it's just freaking 4 sentences, how's gonna help, but somehow I made an attempt, or maybe my guide said that you got to try it. So I started with practicing that 51 times a day. So 51 times I had to say 4 lines, and I am a number 5. Okay, we have attention problem. Like when I start my talk shows, my topics go haywire. I normally write it down, but it always goes haywire because our mind goes in a different direction. So we have an attention problem. So we keep drifting, then I have to bring myself back. Again, we keep drifting, I have to bring myself back. That's how the process is for me, always, and I keep shifting, because number 5 people are very smart at everything in the world. So I feel I want to do this and I want to do that, and X and Y and Z and all that. And somebody very close to me once said that, you got to stick to certain thing, and you follow the path, because then that will be your steadiness and rockness. So I kind of believed at that point of time, and I kind of said, okay, you know, it makes a sense, and I followed that thing, and that brought a lot of things in my life. But again, I keep drifting back. I keep going from here to there. That's my basic issue, you know. So 51 times for me to say that mantra is really difficult, but I kind of went ahead with it. I spaced it out. You can space it out. So I spaced it out like 10 into 5. So 10 times, then once, then another time, then another time, then another 5 times a day I started saying it. And then I said, you know what, is a bit boring and all of that. Let me do it when I'm sitting at night, you know. So when I used to meditate a lot at that point of time, especially the pandemic time. There was nothing else to do, so meditation really would help, you know. I recorded my own voice. I recorded my own emotions. I thought of a situation. I recorded my own voice and my own emotions with that situation, and I started working on it. And oh my god, that's when it opened a lot of Pandora boxes. Okay, it started bringing out all those memories that we discussed, kind of, you know. But eventually it helped me understand a lot of concepts which my guides were trying to, you know, bring it through me. But I was not stable. I was like literally, you know, jumping here and there. I was not at all stable. So this kind of helped me focus. It kind of helped me balance, and then the information started channeling in. I got it through my third eye, and it started working on it. And now I'm working with Arcturians, I'm working with Orion belts, I'm working with different you know, galaxies. I channel those messages. I started my light language, you know. I had my Kundalini awakening. All that processes had started, but I was not practicing it, and now everything is into force. So there are days when I am not practicing a certain thing. I start Pono, and within 4-5 days I see change in myself. So my whole reason to you is, yeah, it's very important. Forgiveness is very important. Forgiving is also important. First thing is, you need to forgive yourself, because in whatever situation that happened, you are taking too much of weight on yourself. You need to let go of the blame, of the pain, of the result of whatever that you're going through. Guilt, remorse, dejection, rejection, codependency, whatever you're going through, you know, lack of abundance. You need to ask for your own forgiveness, because you tortured yourself. Why I do this? Did you even listen to yourself? Did you care for yourself? Did you do anything to yourself? No. First fundamental thing is, you start forgiving your own self. And once you start forgiving yourself, you are opening up different channels. Now it's a long process. It's not going to be a shortcut thing, but it's like you will have to go through this process step by step, you know. But you keep graduating. So my dear friends, today on this 8th day of Savansari, I really want to wish you Michhami Dukkadam, and I really want you to bring the concept of Ho'oponopono, because it's very similar to our Jain Pratikaman Savansari, where we ask for this forgiveness, and it has helped my life, and it will surely help your life too. There's no rocket science to that. It's 4 simple words. It's not easy to hard to remember. It's very easy to remember, and you just have to follow that, you know. So what I'll do is, I'll write the Ho'oponopono player in the box below, so that you can go through it. And of course, there's YouTube. There are so many videos on that. You can go through that. You can buy books on it. You can enroll for courses on it. There's a lot of options. And if you don't want to do any of that, you can just record your own voice and listen to it. Just keep it on a loop mode, you know. Record one thing and keep it on a loop mode, and hear it yourself. When you listen to your voice, that's one of the most powerful thing, because up in the moment, you have never heard yourself. You have never listened to yourself. All you do is, your focus is external. You have to bring it internal, you know. So that's what is my message for today, and I really wish you a very happy day and happy life ahead. And if there is anything that you want to ask, if you have any queries, you can always drop in messages, and you can connect to me. I'll be happy to reply to that. And yeah, see you soon. Have a good day.